So last week we got some pretty huge news regarding Season 8 and Shinobi Striker. Apart from the new summons and the upcoming theme on the DLC ninjutsu, we also got some info on what the next characters might be in this season. So what better time than now to do some character predictions? Some of them might be obvious, some might not, so without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so in the latest update we learned that one of the characters that is going to be making an appearance in Season 8 is a long-awaited Boruto character. Now, in my opinion, this could realistically only be two characters. It's either going to be Momoshiki or Code. And due to the fact that Momoshiki is an older character and probably also a much more known one amongst the fans, I think he's gonna be the first DLC character of Season 8. So here's the jutsu I personally think he's gonna have. First of all, I think he's gonna be a range type, and even though we've gotten a lot of them recently, I can't see him being anything else honestly. The first jutsu I think Momoshiki surely has to bring into the game is his Rinnegan absorption technique. In the anime, Momoshiki uses this technique to absorb any ninjutsu based attack with his right hand and then is able to release that technique through his left hand while also amplifying its power. I think this jutsu could be absolutely awesome in Shinobi Striker. Obviously there are some question marks in terms of how exactly it would work, since there are a lot of non-offensive ninjutsu in the game that could theoretically be absorbed, but it's hard to imagine how you would amplify them. So I think the jutsu would probably have to be limited to just offensive techniques. And the way I would imagine it working is that you hold down the jutsu button and similar to Kawaki's strange taste jutsu, you absorb the first ninjutsu that comes your way. After that, you gain access to that jutsu, and when you use it, it gets a slight boost, maybe in damage and speed. I mean, wouldn't that just be awesome? Imagine absorbing something like Majestic Destroyer Flame just to throw it back at the enemy with even more vigor behind it. Obviously, it does sound kind of OP, so maybe you would have to have a higher cooldown or something, but I think that you gotta have this jutsu if you're gonna do a Momoshiki DLC. As his second jutsu, I think you could give him the nature transformation jutsu he gets when he combines all of the chakra natures. You would probably have to make it more close range, because if it was a long range jutsu, it would be very similar to Karma Progression's Boruto or Sengan Full Moon. But otherwise, I could see it being a simple high damage dealing jutsu. Finally, for his ultimate, I think you gotta do his transformation, that would give you a huge boost. I would also probably add a second activation where you create that stone monkey that Momoshiki uses and maybe it smashes the ground or something. But maybe you leave that out and just give the transformation a really big and long boost instead, and change his base ninjutsu into those fire bird projectiles that could definitely be a way as well. Nevertheless, this is my most confident prediction for the upcoming season. I think we're very likely to see Momoshiki, and personally, I'm really excited for him. Alright, my next prediction may seem a bit weird, but stay with me. I think the second character of this season is going to be Kid Sasuke. Now yes, there's a lot of versions of Sasuke in the game, but I think one of the main reasons behind why the developers decided to introduce Kid Gaara last season was because it gives them an opportunity to bring Kid Sasuke and Kid Naruto as well. Now I think the first one of those is going to be Sasuke, simply because there's one less of him compared to Naruto. I also think he's going to be an attack type, since we haven't seen an attack type variant of Sasuke yet, but surely he has to get one soon. I personally really want to see one jutsu specifically from this character, that being Curse Mark. I think this could be a really cool jutsu. My idea of how it would work is pretty simple but kind of fun I think. I want to see this jutsu give you like a really big boost in all stats, but at the cost of depleting your health while you're using it. You would obviously need to tune out how big the boost is and how much health it takes away, but I think it should work like this. His second jutsu I'm a little bit more torn on, but in both cases I think it should be a taijutsu technique. I think it should either be Lion's Barrage or that technique where he smashes the opponent's head into the floor, that being Falcon Drop. I think both of these could be really cool and I wouldn't mind seeing either personally. Finally, his ultimate simply has to be the second stage of Curse Mark, the full transformation. Again, it should probably come with a big boost, and this time I would completely change his base ninjutsu. Honestly, giving him both of the jutsu he has in Storm when he awakens, that being Chidori Lament and Gale Bullet. I think that would perfectly suffice. Honestly, I think a good version of Sasuke would be pretty hype, and even though there's a lot of him in the game, I believe he still has something to offer. Okay, let's look at who I think might be the last character of the season, that being Karin. Now, I'm not gonna pretend that Karin would be the most exciting character ever, but due to some leaks and the need for a heal type, I think her appearance is pretty likely. And even though she's not the most hype character, I think she could have some really interesting jutsu. I think her first one probably has to be something with that pink spray of hers. Maybe you would shoot it out and then it would stay in the area for a little while, damaging anyone that comes into it while also lowering their defense and slowing them down. It could be a pretty great crowd control jutsu. Her second jutsu needs to be a healing one, I think, and it should probably utilize her whole biting shtick. If you don't know, in the anime, Karin can greatly heal someone or even herself by them/she herself biting her. Now, obviously you probably can't actually have characters come up to you during the game and take a bite, but you could for example lower the user's defense while the jutsu is active, and make it have maybe a smaller range but keep the healing amount quite high. It will make it like a high risk, high reward type of jutsu where you could heal your allies by a lot but you yourself would be very vulnerable with the lower defense. Finally, as her ultimate, I think you gotta give her the adamantine chains. And I don't think you really need to complicate this one. Probably just make it so that anyone within a certain range of the user gets caught by the chain, maybe does like 50% damage and is unable to move for the next few seconds / until somebody hits them. I think if it was like this, it would probably be right on the line in terms of not overpowered but not bad either. If the leaks are to be believed, then we're very likely to see Karin in Season 8. And if the moveset represents anything like this, I think she would be a really cool character. And that's all the predictions. If I had to say, I'm pretty positive on the fact that we'll see Momoshiki and Karin in the next season. Kid Sasuke is definitely more of a wild pick, but I think it's just a character I would really love to see in the game. And especially the curse mark jutsu is one of my favorites from the whole show. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you thought about the predictions, and if you have any other ones then please let me know. And that's all for this video. Thank you all so much for watching and I'll see you later. Bye!